reason a woman should ever look down is to show off her eyeshadow. Hello everyone, Sewe here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to do eyeshadow tutorial on how to cut your crease. As you can see, I did my eyebrow off camera. So the concealer we are using to set my brows is Zikel Second Skin Concealer in the shade Honey. Before you start applying your eyeshadow, make sure you set your eyelid first to maintain that pigment on your eyeshadow. For application, make sure you use a fluffy round brush. Don't use an angle brush for this. And the secret is blending. Tap until it all blends in together. The eyeshadow palette we are going for today is Veebeauty Be My Vow, and the first transition shade is Black Jack. And for transition in brushes, should always be round fluffy brush. Don't use an angle brush for this. And for transition, don't use shimmer shade for your transition. I edit the video to put plaster to define the outer corner of my eye and the follow-up of the eyeshadow. For the transition shade, start with the outer corner to the inner corner. From the outer corner to going towards the inner corner. Make sure the transition is fade towards the inner corner. Don't use fresh product for that. My second transition shade is still in Veebeauty in the shade Red Carpet. Use a small round brush for your second transition shade and a very little force using circular motion. Blend in the edges very well. To cut my crease, I use eyeshadow primer from Zikel Cosmetics. You can use the same concealer you use in lining up your brow. But as for me, I prefer to use eyeshadow primer. It gives me that pigment I'm looking for. But you can use the same concealer you use in lining up your brow. I prefer to use concealer when I'm doing matte eyeshadow. People notice that I use only Veebeauty palette for this eyeshadow tutorial. I love this eyeshadow very well. It's very pigmented and very affordable. Very affordable. You can get it from their website. It's very affordable and so pigmented. I use the same angle brush I use in lining my brows for this. Don't use a round brush for this. Use a flat angle brush to cut your crease. After cutting your crease, drag the product down to your eyelid. To blend in, I went back with the same brush I used in blending my concealer to blend in my crease. And for blending, tap 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 tap. Don't drag it. If you drag, it's going to crease. So tap 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 with a very little force. I still went back to correct the crease line. Take your time with this process. Take your time. If you make mistake, you go back again to correct the mistake. So for my crease, I used a heart shade for my crease in the same Veebeauty palette in the shade First Base. Press that shimmer shade exactly where you cut your crease. Following the exact shape, and for application, tap 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 with very little force. Tap 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 tap. Take your time with this. Take your time. Can you see how the eyeshadow is looking? Take your time with this. Take your time. Take your time with this. Blend, blend, blend. I went back with my first transition shade to further define my crease because I made mistake when I was cutting my crease. You can see how scattered the eyeshadow is on my crease. So I went back with my first transition shade to further blend in my crease using circular motion for this. And the same brush I used for my first transition shade. I'm blending in from the outer corner to the inner corner, from the outer corner to the inner corner, and for blending, tap 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 until it all blends in together. I went back with a small round brush, the same one I used on my second transition shade, to further define my eyeshadow. At this point, I'm taking off my plaster, so you will see how sharp the edges are. It's very painful, very, very, very painful. It's painful, like so painful. Can you see that? Can you see how the edges are? It's so beautiful. Can you see? No fallout of eyeshadow. Can you see how it's looking? So beautiful. Can you see? My eyeshadow is looking very beautiful. This is the finished look. If you find this video helpful or interesting, please like and share. I promise to upload more content, so please subscribe, hit down the notification bell. See you again in my next video. Bye bye.